Hello and welcome. My name is Hulta, and today I would like to talk about traveling, and specifically the way traveling can be an invaluable experience in opening up your mind and seeing things from perspectives that are different than your own. I grew up in Europe. It is very normal in Europe for people, if they go on vacations, to go to different countries because the countries are so close by. You can drive across the border just as easily as you drive across state lines here in America. Traveling abroad wasn't really considered that special since it didn't often involve a lot of money or a lot of effort, taking trains, planes, or just, plain driving across borders. It was normal to see your neighboring countries. In America, when I moved here, I was struck by how small the world seemed here in such a very large country. I know people that have lived in the same place their entire lives, and not just them, but their parents and sometimes grandparents too. And that's not necessarily a bad thing or a good thing that you stay in one place. But what always struck me is the refusal, sometimes quite literally, of people to go beyond where they live. I know people that have lived within the same maybe 50 or 100 miles and never gone outside of it. I know people that have lived in a small town and gone into a city that was also incredibly small, but quite literally got lost because it was so much bigger than what they were used to. And to me, it always struck me, why wouldn't you want to see the world? And even if you don't want to see the entire world, why don't you want to see the rest of your country? You may grow up in one place. In that one place, you were exposed probably to a rather singular point of view on various topics. And when you grow up in such a world, you don't realize that there's a world outside of it, that there are opinions that are different, perspectives and experiences that are completely polar opposite to what you're used to. And I think there's a lot of fear that comes from not knowing, from not understanding, from living your life in such a small part of the universe and only ever getting news of anything else, either from film and TV shows, which we all know are hardly accurate representations of various people, and the news, which, let's face it, depending on what exactly you watch, it'll be biased in some sort of way. And a lot of people seek out opinions and perspectives that match their own, or ones that reinforce their existing worldview. And I find that just a little bit tragic. Enhancing your perspective isn't about changing your perspective. I think a lot of people that have lived their lives in such a small section don't realize that you can have your own opinion and your own worldview, and it can be different from someone else's, and they can be equally valid. That people that are different from you are not trying to take anything away from you. They're not trying to change you or convince you of anything. Now, depending on what the topic is, could it happen? Absolutely. But that goes about everything, including something as silly as sports team. Now, I find it silly. Some people take it very, very seriously. But we all have things that we take seriously and that we don't take seriously that are important to someone that are not important to us. And that's okay. I'm allowed to have my own passions and opinions on things. They may or may not be the same as yours. That's fine. We can have a nice debate, or we can simply not talk about the topic. That's perfectly fine. But what travel has taught me is to have an open mind to different voices, different perspective, different experiences. What I have seen and lived through is not going to be the same as what you have seen and lived through. Some people will have better experiences, some people will have worse experiences. It's not a competition. It's not about who has the worst or who has the best or who has anything. What traveling has really opened my eyes to is that we're all people. And for the most part, we all want love and acceptance and happiness. We want to have family and friends around us. We want people to support us in our goals, in our education, in our achievements, whatever they may be. And I think this is a through note through every culture. And now some cultures on planet Earth are very different. I speak from the perspective, and only a singular perspective, from Western culture. I do not represent all Western cultures. I only represent my experience through that lens. I can't speak for anyone else. But what I can be is open to what other people have to show me and tell me. And when I've traveled to different places, that's what I've experienced. I started traveling before GPS and the internet was such a huge thing. One of my first solo trips, I had to go buy a phone card. Then I had to go find a payphone if I wanted to call my parents. I didn't have a cell phone that would work when I went On a trip, I had to buy a new SIM card. I had to switch it out so I'd have a local number. I couldn't use it to call home. It would be too expensive. So I would buy these prepaid cards and use them in a payphone to call. I would write emails. There was no Skype or Zoom or FaceTime or anything like that. I think today technology has gotten so good that we sometimes feel like we can travel from the comfort of our couches. But that's not true. Seeing a picture of the Duomo or Ponte Vecchio in Florence, Italy, is nice. They're beautiful. Maybe they even make you feel something. But I can promise you that whatever you feel when you see a picture like that, or a picture of the Eiffel Tower in Paris, France, it doesn't compare to the experience of being there, of walking next to the Duomo and seeing how grand it is, and feeling so small standing next to it. To realize the feat of engineering that the Eiffel Tower is, or to walk and see all the shops and people going about their lives on Ponte Vecchio, because you can't get that from pictures. And I wish it was part of every human experience to be able to travel to at least one other country that's different from your own, whatever country you may want to go to, and that you'd be able to be there, ideally disconnected, so you can really soak up the culture, maybe even a little bit of the language, and just see how incredibly same we are. Our outsides and our beliefs and how we approach the world differ sometimes, and sometimes extremely so. But I would venture to guess that most people want the same thing: love, acceptance, happiness, family, and friends. We're more alike than we are different. In most cases, our differences are not insurmountable, but you have to be open for it. And one of the ways that you can be open is through travel. Now, I've talked about international travel. I've been fortunate that I've been able to do that. And I recognize that that is a privilege and that that is not possible for a lot of people. And I want to tell you that travel doesn't have to include going on a plane or going to a faraway place or picking a country that is so very different from yours. Start at home, wherever home is for you. What's the furthest away that you've ever been? Can you go a little further? If you've never been outside your state, can you visit the next state over? Can you make a weekend trip or even a day trip? Can you pick an event that is going on near you that you would normally go to so you can meet new people? Do you live on one coast and you want to visit the other coast? I don't think you have to go very far to be able to enjoy different perspectives and different experience, to meet different people. I think you just have to be open to it, to try, to be willing to recognize that whatever your perspective is, it is not the only one, and that your perspective, whatever it may be, can coexist with other perspectives. I think a lot has been lost in the very militant mindset that seems to be everywhere now. You believe what you believe, and that is the only belief that you must hold, or else you are not you. That's a lie. Your beliefs are based on your experiences. As you grow and experience more and venture outside of your bubble, whatever your bubble is, those perspectives will grow, and they might change, they might not. The point isn't to change you. The point is to get you to hear a different side. That is what travel has taught me. Now, this might seem like an oversimplification, and perhaps it is. There's a lot more nuance in the world than I could possibly cover in a single video. But maybe oversimplification is what we need. I know I overcomplicate things. Perhaps you do too. So maybe it is time to just try. Take one step further than where you've been before. See what happens. So, what is the furthest you've ever been away from home? And if money was no object, where would you like to go in the world? What would you like to see? What would you like to experience? What's your dream? Leave it in the comments below, and I would love it if you hit subscribe and like. That would definitely help. Let other people know about this video, so hopefully we can grow our community and we can all support each other as we work to grow and become the best version of ourselves. That's it for now. I'll see you soon. Bye.